What's going on, Barber World? This is your girl, Sheeta Barber, coming back at you with another video. This particular video is a bittersweet video because it was my last haircut at the Royal Experience Beauty and Barbershop in Horn Lake, Mississippi. But we're going to get right to it. Well, first, I want to say thank you to the whole team at the shop for making me feel like a member, a family member of the shop, and not just somebody that came in to cut hair. So shout out to everyone there, especially the owner, Kiana Gates. I love you. Thank you. So on this particular haircut, the client came in and he wanted to cut it all off. He normally gets a drop fade with a high top, but he wants to go down to wavelength and get a low taper. So if you don't mind, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and let's go ahead and get this started. So today we're going to be transitioning him from a high top drop fade to a low taper. He's looking to start over, cut it all off, do something new. Well, not start over, but basically just cut it off and do something new. He hasn't had the top of his hair cut in about 6 years. So let's get this started. And right now I am going against the grain with a 1.5 just to kind of cut it down as much as possible. Not so much as getting it even, but pretty much just cutting it all off. He does have some cowlicks in the front, so you will see me going with the grain some. And I'm not getting it so even because I got to shampoo it anyway, and we'll get it even once he comes back from the shampoo bowl. He said that he ain't felt the top of his head in so long. Watch it. He ain't seen that in a long time, y'all. 6 years. So we're gonna get him shampooed up. Now he's nice and clean, and it's time to go ahead and knock him down as even as possible. As you can see, he does have some cowlicks, but we're gonna knock him down, get that taken care of. And right now I'm using my one guard open, and as I go down until his sides and his back, I'm kind of closing it a little bit at a time because we're going to blend into it anyways, so it's going to be knocked down as I blend up. So just making sure I get it as even as possible for myself. See me going, I'm going with the grain with the cowlick. It just looks like I'm going against the grain because I'm going in a totally different direction. But we're going to set this ball line in as low as possible, not going past his ear and in the back of the neck. Pretty much just setting that guideline where his hairline is the highest, at its highest point. And starting, going against the grain with the clipper open. And I am just blending down instead of blending up. So as I start up, my clipper is all the way open, and as I go down, I close the clipper a little at a time. Now right here, I put my one guard on and I closed it all the way. And as I move up, I open the clipper up a little at a time. And now I have my 1.5 on, and I'm gonna knock down all of that bulk up there. And I started that one with the clipper all the way open. And then I work my way down and stretch the skin as much as possible so that I can clear that area out better. Now I have my one guard back on, using my corners to set that blend in. And now we are using the clipper open and closing it a little at a time in the back. And once I get that blended in, I'm going to follow the same routine, getting my one guard, closing it all the way, and setting in the guideline. And you guys have to excuse me for getting in the way. I wasn't really thinking. Now you're going to see me kind of cross back and forth across the camera so that I am not in the way. Now I got the one guard completely open. And now I'm kind of like playing in between the one open and the one closed. closing my clipper just a little so I can blend in the middle and make sure it's a good transition. I don't like setting it in closed and then just going straight to open and doing nothing to the middle, because the transition doesn't look as, it doesn't look as good. You can tell that you're just jumping from closed to open or from open to closed, depending on how you set your guidelines in. Next, I'm going to put the 1.5 on so we can smooth out that blend up top. And then right now it's all the way open. That's why I'm going up so high. And I'm playing with the lever, opening and closing it to blend out that line as much as possible. And I'm going to do that from one side to the other, blending from the end into the middle. And I'm going to switch my guards and go right back to that one and smooth that line out some more. And now I have the 0.5 on, cleaning up between that clipper open and that one closed. And now we're just starting the same thing on the other side. Everything I do is pretty much repetitive. Starting with that clipper open, blending down, closing my lever as I go down. Now I have that one guard on, starting with the clipper closed, sitting in the guideline, and as I move up, I'm opening my clipper up. Now we have the 1.5 on, knocking down that bolt. Remember, I went against the grain with the 1.5, so it's gonna blend into it and blend into itself. And now I have that one guard on, using my corners just to blend it out some more. And now I have the 1.5 on just to clean it up some more between that clipper open and that one guard closed. And now I'm kind of using that 1.5 to, it's all the way open, to knock down some of that bulk. And you guys have to excuse me, I was completely in the way of the camera when I was lining up the front on his left side, so I didn't get a good view of it. But I'm using my my Andes TL liners, and since his lineup is at a diagonal, I always hold my clippers diagonally to the line. If the line is straight across, I'm gonna hold my clippers straight across so I get a straight lineup. Whichever way your lineup is going, that's the direction that you want to hold your liners in. You don't want to hold it in a different direction because you may not get a straight lineup. And I never try to dig too far into my client's lineup. I try to keep it as natural as possible unless the client asks for me to go in further. Most of my clients in the back of the neck, if I go in deep on their lineup, is to make it look natural because their hair grows pretty much almost connecting towards their face. With it, basically, if I have a hairy client, I guess you can say that. So right now, I'm just lining him up in the front, going from the middle to the side, and that's how I did the other side. I went from the middle to the side. And as you can see, he's slightly thin in the front, in the middle, kind of like towards his left side. And we still want to keep that as natural as possible. And he's slightly thin because that's where his cowlick is. Now, because this client has gone from a high top to a low haircut, he's gonna have to train his hair by brushing it to smooth it out, and so he don't look like he have so much space between his between the hair and his head. So that's gonna come with him being dedicated to brushing and keeping on his do-rag, which I did discuss with my client before and after the service. and to train his hair to grow back in the direction that it was before he began to grow his hair out, because he did not have a cowlick before he started growing his hair out. So make sure you guys, when you're coming from a high fade, an afro, or anything of that nature, make sure you're brushing once you get these low haircuts every day, 30 minutes throughout the day, and keep your do-rag on if you're not going anywhere in particular. If you're just making a run to the store or something like that, keep your do-rag on, unless you feel like you want to show off your waves, or you don't particularly like going to the store in your do-rag. But other than that, if you're just lounging around the house, not doing anything special, keep your do-rag on at all times, but please make sure you brush before you put your do-rag on, because however your hair is, the do-rag is just going to compress your hair into that position anyways. So you want to make sure you brush your hair before you put that do-rag on. But right now I am putting on the pencil outline, and we had somebody in there selling candles and cologne, so that's him letting me smell his candles. But right now we're setting in the pencil on him to blend it in, just to make this haircut look more enhanced. And of course, y'all know the young people, that's what they like, that's what's in. So I put the pencil on, and now I'm going to start his razor line up. And I try not to go over an area too many times, because as you know, when you're using this razor, you're taking off a small layer of skin, and I want to try to get it as good as possible within the first 2 to 3 strokes. That way I don't irritate the skin. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm pretty much blending that pencil in. It's almost like a contour to the haircut, just like when women draw on the eyebrows and then they put the concealer around and then blend it out. This is pretty much the same thing. You want to blend it in as good as possible, because you don't want it to look like a sharp line going around his head. You want it to look enhanced and not something that's drawn on. So I just hit them with a little green alcohol, and I always use a towel to dust my clients off, because those neck dusters it's not sanitary to use those, simply because if you're using it on every client, you're transferring hair from one client to the next. Now we're doing a nice little brush session, because he is going to put his do-rag on. This is the before, you guys, how he came in, and this is the after, how he left. Low taper. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys. God bless.